There you go.
Did you have to roll for that event, or did you have to roll for that?
Come here.
It's a challenge, you know, maybe the past 5 years, the cost of doing business in California is hard. We are dealing with the drought, the water regulations, or just regulations in general. You know, with this water situation, I think dairymen are going to get hit the hardest first.
If they implemented what they wanted, and this is just for crop purposes, this is not groundwater, drinking water, none of that. TID would not have had any water for the farmers to irrigate, zero. And the feed costs would have been tremendous. And could we have stayed in business with that? Probably not. Probably not. And that would affect everybody in California, not just us as a family farm, but I mean that's directly affects us.
You know, we rely on the water that we get from the Don Pedro Dam, and we need that water to grow the crops that we need to feed our animals. And if we don't get that water, we're done. We are out of business.
There's no options,
Yeah.
or very minimal options, and I don't think we can weather those options, especially with the regulations that we're in.
Marchy Dairy currently farms and operates about 600 milking head that's owned by my dad and my uncle. With my passion for agriculture and growing up on the family farm, whether it was milking or begin to feed the animals and giving vaccinations, I really learned the passion for agriculture and all the values and morals that we have. I hope looking at that aspect, I continue to grow up on the dairy farm and continue to pursue my 4th generation dairy farm.
Well, my father came in here in about 1921 as a young man, and he started a farm up in Washington, state of Washington, with his new bride and young son. They went broke up there, so he picked his family up and moved into California and started to farm down here in the Bay Area. And we stayed there from 1928 to 60. And then there was 3 boys that started the business up here where we are today. And kind of proud of what he started. And I'd like to see this carry on to my 3 grandsons here to stay in the industry, because we are 4 generations of dairy farmers.
We were born and raised in it, and I always loved the cows. It was just fun. I enjoyed it. It's a love. It's a passion of love.
And then it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I think we're just passing it down from family member, sibling to sibling, or, you know, even these boys here. You know, I wasn't sure I was going to be in the dairy business, but, you know, growing up, I loved, after coming home from school, wanting to work on the dairy, being with my dad, you know, so it's, like I say, a generational thing. But now it just seems it's just a struggle for dairymen lately, though. Maybe the past 5 years, the cost of doing business in California is hard.
The environment needs the water, we also need the water. We're trying to produce for the people, they're trying to send out water for the environment. And understanding both sides gives us perspectives, but at the same time we need to understand those perspectives and try to make a balancing act. 40 to 60% isn't a balancing act. It's choosing the environment side over the agriculturists who are trying to produce this adequate and safe food supply for the world.
I think there's a disconnect, you know, they just don't get what we do. And I hope they realize that we feed the world. I think $21 billion to the state economy, so our industry is important and vital. We are important to the state.
Yeah. The farmer has hope. The farmer has to hope that we get rain, hope that the crop is going to be able to produce the yield that we need, and they're kind of like the beacon of hope in today's agriculture industry. We need to acknowledge if we don't have water, one of life's vital resources in our lives, then the farm's not going to be able to continue to grow and produce. And that doesn't just hurt locally or my own family farmer, it hurts on a state, national, and global level by exportation of our milk and going to other goods. It's going to hurt not only our local farm, but on a global standpoint. We're not just trying to be farmers or ranchers or just living on the family farm. We're trying to be speakers, people who can be research scientists, someone that can go out to the world and be a problem solver. And I think that's what we're going to need to solve this issue with who has the rights to the water. It's not just one or the other, it's everybody has the right. It's life's most greatest resource.
And it's not easy here in California to farm, but the outlook, I think if these young gentlemen stay in the FFA like Bobby's doing here, going for his farmer award, quite proud of these boys and like to see it keep going.